The paper is not for them.
It's not. It's not. Welcome back. It is still TV3 New Day. Excuse me. And it's time now for the big issue. My guests are in the studio, and so let's go ahead and introduce them, and of course talk about very pertinent issues making the waves in the media. So this morning, I have Haruna Mohammed. He's the Deputy General Secretary for the NPP joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Good to meet you for the first time, actually.
Thank you.
Even though I know you were here, was it a week ago or so?
Yes, that was Friday.
Friday? Yes, I remember seeing you pass by. Also, Bernard Mona is a former chairman of the People's National Convention, always sporting his red beret. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Not in this economy.
How is that an answer to?
I
said, how are you doing? He said,
not in this economy.
What does that mean?
I cannot be well under this
You're not
economy.
well?
I'm not.
Things are difficult.
Exceptionally tough. Exceptionally tough.
But I think he said he was doing well. So I guess the economy is not really affecting him much.
No.
It's not.
He probably is doing well physically, but in terms of the economic health.
I think he's doing well more than me. So
He's doing better. He looks better than you.
Very better. Because if
Are we using the physical?
I met him take his breakfast before coming here, and you could have.
You had breakfast already.
Very rich breakfast.
No, actually, I don't take breakfast, but
You
I
don't.
eat.
You eat.
I eat.
So you've already eaten this morning.
Exactly what I do.
What did you eat?
I don't eat. I don't take breakfast. Breakfast, I am told, is tea, cocoa, and those things. Me, I eat proper TZ.
By
I
morning.
eat kenke.
In the
or
morning.
I eat wache.
So you've had
The
your
lightest food I eat in the morning is wache.
So you've had your watch this
Oh,
morning.
long
already?
time.
Oh wow.
Long time.
Lawyer Godwin Eduji Tamaklo. I'm not sure if he's had breakfast or he's eaten. Whichever one, he is a
should have,
member
because he has
of the
won the case
NDC legal team. He should eat it because he's won the case yesterday. Congratulations on that, by the way. How are you doing?
By providence, we are doing well. By providence, we are doing well.
Yeah.
And a good morning to my client who had failed to pay.
But he has eaten already. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? Your lawyer, you've not even asked your lawyer whether he has taken in anything. So if I collapse, moving your
will defend
application.
Is he talking about me?
Is he not? He says you have eaten, but you have not paid him.
No, I want to look at the front page of the Daily Guide.
Anyways.
Ignore.
Yesterday, the Second High Court threw out the election petition case against the NDC Member of Parliament for Jomoro constituency, Dorcas Afo Toffee. And so the court was presided over by Justice Dr. Richmond Osei-Were. He said that the NDC MP was eligible at the time she contested the 2020 parliamentary election as she renounced her Ivorian citizenship. And of course, her lawyer is seated here. I'm sure he'll tell us about it, which is why I said congratulations this morning when I was introducing him. Must feel very good at the moment, knowing that you won this case. Tell us a bit about it.
Okay, so Bella, good morning. And good morning to my brother, Mohammed. We've had an interesting encounter in the year 2020.
Yes.
I was then defending a matter involving Zabzgu constituency at the Tamale High Court. And so he comes to represent MPP. And so we've kept that relationship till now.
Okay.
And congratulations
Thank you.
on your appointment as Deputy General Secretary.
Thank you.
But as you are aware, after the 2020 election, the then Deputy Minister for Culture, Paulisian, had contested my client.
Yeah.
And my client had won the election by over 5,000 votes difference. Subsequently, we were fixed with this petition that there was a time that she was an Ivorian, American, and Ghanaian.
Yeah.
And so she owes allegiance to a country other than Ghana. So basically that was the complaint against her.
Okay.
And so we also defended the matter and indicated to the court that it could not be the case because one, she was never an American citizen. What happened was that the petitioner saw her green card and thought that that was an American, citizenship.
Oh, okay.
So, and when the case itself commenced, they abandoned the American and were focused more on the Ivorian aspects. So we went through the full trial, we had the benefit of bringing in an expert witness. I personally went to Ivory Coast.
Oh, okay. So you brought in...
Yes, because of the nature of the case.
Okay.
Because the principle of law usually is that once you are referencing a foreign law, okay, that foreign law becomes a factual matter.
Okay.
And because it's a factual matter, you need somebody to lead evidence in relation to that fact. You see, like the adversarial system we have, when the thing is a fact in dispute, then you have to prove it. If the fact is admitted, you don't prove it.
Okay.
So in this case, we had said we have done a renunciation process in 2019. And so these processes led us to lose this. And then the petitioner denies it. So it becomes a fact in issue.
Okay.
It's a disputable fact. So one person must prove.
I see. Which is why you...
At that time, the burden was on us to prove. So she testified, and then I brought in an expert lawyer from Ivory Coast as well.
Okay.
So this lawyer from Ivory Coast then came to testify in relation to Ivorian law. The fact that I'm a lawyer in Ghana does not mean that I know the law in Ivory Coast.
Okay.
The judge too is neutral.
Okay.
It is not the responsibility of the judge to go out there looking for laws, no. So in this case, whereas we went to Ivory Coast to bring, the petitioner never brought in. He only testified for himself.
Okay.
So if you read the judgment, you notice that when I cross-examined him, I asked him a very simple question. And the question was whether he will agree with me that he's not an expert in Ivorian law. And he said yes.
Okay.
And so once he was not an expert, it means that everything that he'll be saying may just be based on what somebody might have told him.
I see.
And then I went in. And so if you read the judgment, the judge actually made copious reference to those gaps that were left in the case of the petitioner.
I see.
That for him as a judge, he was left with only the testimony of the Ivorian expert witness.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. If they had brought in their own expert witness, then there would have been two,
So per the Ivorian law, once you
so what we did in our defense,
you decide to belong to one other country,
so
automatically you lose your
Coast
citizenship?
don't admit dual nationals.
Yeah, okay.
Unlike we do. Per our Citizenship Act, you can be a dual national, except that there are certain positions that you cannot hold. One of them is the president, member of parliament. Professor Azar and co. Contesting that particular position. You know, Bella, it's strange that if you have an American child, there's a high possibility that your child will become the president of America than becoming the president of Ghana. Like Obama, whose father left Kenya to go and study in Harvard. He became president of the United States of America. But it would be difficult, assuming the reverse, for your child to become president of this republic unless he takes certain steps. So eventually that is why we went through, and the court basically agreed with us because, you see, we pleaded specifically Section 48 or the Article 48 of the Ivorian Nationality Code.
All right.
And it says that once you take steps to adopt the nationality of another country other than Ivory Coast, automatically you forfeit the Ivorian nationality.
I see.
So
Interesting.
the lawyer came, testified, and incidentally, the lawyers for the petitioner subjected him to over 1 hour cross-examination. Over an hour cross-examination on what the Ivorian position of the law is. And if you read the judgment, the judge made the point that it is not for a lawyer here, the lawyer for the petitioner, to prove those facts. He cannot testify.
It is for a lawyer from Ivory Coast, and you brought in that. She continues to hold herself as MP for Jomoro constituency, and so no, NEC has not
in
lost
all of this,
I
want to thank the court graciously for what has happened, and the Almighty God. And one more important person, H. John Dramani Mahama. In fact, he basically financed everything, and he was deep into this conversation. I appreciate the help and Honorable Bois.
All right. Well, let's move on now and talk about what we're here for. I don't believe that you would want to comment on this, would you?
No, we would.
No, I think.
Oh, you would want to? Okay.
Don't
well,
allow.
I was hoping that we could.
Let's
be fair
don't
and hear
allow
from them
him
what
to
they make
I know what
of
he's
this
up
matter.
Oh, no.
I don't think he's going to reference
that other one, we will discuss it.
So what do you
I think
make?
it's been discussed already.
that other one, we'll discuss it at the appropriate
Leonard, what do you make?
It's been discussed already.
But let me congratulate ADG for his continuous commitment, particularly to the underprivileged.
Underprivileged in this case,
because I've been giving
yourself
you pro bono
or the
legal
Jomoro
services.
MP?
He
Because
considers
we were just
himself
talking about the Jomoro MP.
To avoid paying legal fees, you are not underprivileged. I'm putting it to you.
For his continuous service to the underprivileged.
Being who?
For instance, Arise Ghana.
You are underprivileged.
Arise Ghana is an underprivileged.
Meanwhile, you're eating what you already this morning.
Oh, yes. Babel, I'm a farmer, so I don't make mistake with my food.
I see.
I'm a farmer, so the first thing you do is that you eat. And if you have any link with the ministry, they will tell you that you don't work in an empty stomach. Even though the Kenyans will tell you that you don't eat in an empty stomach.
But you're not going to war this morning.
No, you see, when I set off in the morning, from this studio, I don't know where I'll be called to. And if you have done the kind of work we do, you'll be here and then you'll be instructed to go and perform another function.
It's 7:20 a.m., so that means you ate at 6 a.m.?
Or sometimes I eat at 4.
You eat at 4 a.m.?
Yeah.
How?
That is the routine. When I get up, as I'm in my bathroom, my food is
Do you exercise before you eat?
Oh, yes. I do.
I see.
But you know I do.
Anyway.
I do a lot of exercise.
I know. I'm not sure I know
How
what
did she
you
come
do
by
at
that
4 a.m. in the morning, Bernard. But please carry on.
I eat. That one is not something in doubt. Everybody
Okay.
that knows
I'm
me.
just finding out.
Yeah, it's a routine for me. After
okay.
my stretches, I eat. No, I bath, I eat, and then I set off.
I see.
I
Okay.
can carry on for the rest of the day. I don't have a problem.
Please carry on.
Yeah. I want to congratulate Edridi for his continuous service to the underprivileged and the privileged. And in this instance, defending somebody who had gone through the rigorous process of going through primaries, going through the election itself, becoming MP, and now your tenure as an MP has been subjected to one decision, what the court will say. Eventually, if a lawyer is able to stand his grounds to be able to defend you, the lawyer deserves tongues of commendation. The video that I just watched, I noticed that almost everybody that mattered was there. I saw Marita Brew.
She was one of the lawyers. Was she the lead counsel on this case?
I saw also one of my lawyers who decided to go to Parliament and not become responsible any longer to me, James Agalga, and was also seen there. And I've seen Okujeto, I saw Bois, and then the MP for, I think, Shai. I've seen all of them in the video. That shows a certain level of solidarity.
That's Adan.
It's Adan.
Doyo.
Yeah, a certain level of solidarity for them. And I just want to commend them. And I hope that our courts will go through these kind of processes to unearth those who are qualified to be here. The point I want to depart from is that what other people are contending cannot be the law. Yeah, Professor Zayenko are contending the issue of the dual nationality and what they can hold. Of course, if you are an American, if you are born in America, you are considered an American. If you are also born in Ghana, you are also a Ghanaian. The most important thing that we must know is that once you are a Ghanaian, you have the liberties, but we also have some laws. And there are reasons for which you will take some of these decisions. And I'm sure that some of these dual nationals tend to have more allegiance towards the bigger country and what they can be used for. Under such circumstances, when you are not up to the certain status of those countries, if you allow certain positions to be held, if you are not careful, they will not be held for you, they'll be held for those countries. And I think that let's probably hasten slowly in these matters of wanting to make everybody a Ghanaian. Otherwise, we'll sit here. And I saw in Swati, where a Chinese man, by their law, was qualified to go into parliament. And he was campaigning on the basis, because he stayed there for 2 years, by their law, he could contest for elections. If he wins the elections, is he a Chinese man or he's from their country? And you can imagine the kind of impact it will have in terms of Chinese and other things. So these are some of the considerations as a national I'm worried about. But let me also congratulate Harun for his elevation as Deputy General Secretary. What it means is that he was part of the people who said, don't sleep, wake up, against John Boy.
Was he part of them?
Because obviously, if you didn't play a significant role for
Was he really part of them?
JFK, you couldn't have been.
Is that really true? Like you needed some.
No, he had to play a role around that area to catch the eye of JFK.
For the fact is that JFK has been my bosom friend since 2010.
Okay.
When he was a deputy youth organizer for the Ashanti region. When I was director of research for the Northern Regional Youth Wing, for which I worked with COP and Co.
Okay.
From there, he was elevated to become the youth organizer for the Ashanti region, and I also worked under him under the Youth Employment Agency.
So your allegiance was with him from
he has
beginning.
been a very good friend.
Okay.
He has been a great supporter of mine since then. First, I'll say good morning to your cherished viewership and to my colleagues here, lawyer and chairman. I'm
if he's a lawyer, I'm a farmer.
I'm also a farmer.
So say lawyer and farmer.
I'm very happy that today, I'm happy to hear my brother thanking the courts for delivering a judgment in their favor.
Are you really happy about that?
Oh, I'm very happy that this is a posture that we now have in our country, because it is very clear that justice is not hard to find in Ghana.
It's not.
It's not hard. Just that when it comes to a time that you lose this, it doesn't make the judges bad or that they are not delivering justice. So it is good that we have reached this particular stage, and we are getting recommendations from our good friends from the NDC that justice was delivered yesterday. We would not say that because it is not in our favor, we will say anything about the judges. Laws have been used. If you read through the judgment, a lot of cases have been cited in terms of how evidence has been adduced, in terms of an expert advice that was set within the judgment that was delivered yesterday. It is left with the lawyers of the MPP and the petitioner to look at the case very carefully. This is not the end of the case.
You're going to go...
if lawyers so decide that there should be an appeal towards that, they will still go ahead and do that.
What is your real interest in this? I mean, if lawyers decide to go back, is it that you're hoping that seat will be declared vacant to another election?
Yes, lawyer here, when he was giving the narrative, you realize that what the judgment specifically based on was the experts appearing in court and giving evidence based on Article 48 of the Avarian Code. And the petitioner's case of not also bringing in an expert. If the petitioner had brought in an expert, the value of the case would have changed. And you look at the stance on which the MP had used was a letter that was written on the 24th of January, 2019. It tells you that even up to date, we have not received a confirmation from the ministry in Ivory Coast in respect of
justice. But it says that if after 6 months the Minister of Justice does not respond to your renunciation, then automatically you are no longer
that is what they said
of the country.
But in any case at all, it is laws must not just be made that if they don't respond, but there is the need to be responded to.
But that's their law, is that not? That's how they run.
Yes, that is how their laws are.
No,
but
maybe just the point, so that you don't belabor the point. You notice that in 2021 there was a follow-up letter. Now the Ivorians responded with an attestation and indicated that to the extent that Article 48 is concerned, there's no need for a formal decree or certification. So that answers your point.
Yes,
and
I understand.
all this matter. And in fact, incidentally, that letter was introduced by the petitioner. And so that's why if you read the judgment, the judge then says that your own letter confirms the case of the first defendant.
Okay.
So if your evidence corroborates the story of your adversary, then that the story of your adversary will take greater premium over yours.
So even the letter, even the letter,
Oh, no, he had mentioned that he wanted to
even the letter
touch on it.
that might have come and petitioner had submitted wouldn't have met the date of 5th to 9th of October 2020. That was the basis. 5th October to 9th of October, where filing was done.
The court, so the Ivorian Justice Ministry, in fact, your lawyers wrote to them, and we also wrote to them, and they gave a letter, attestation. And in that attestation, they actually said, by reason of Article 48, whatever it is becomes irrelevant. These were their own words.
Yeah, but because you had
So,
brought in
I mean, we've gone past that
yes,
stage.
we've passed that stage, but I'm saying that
He's saying that
I'm
they
saying
will
that
make-
letters,
they will
yes,
appeal.
yes, there is
Deputy
the
General
room.
Secretary.
There is the room to appeal.
He is Deputy General Secretary, and he's serving
In fact, the
notice.
truth
course,
of the matter is that
legally that's allowed.
it's a constitutional right.
Yes, exactly.
There is a room for appeal.
And you intend to
yes,
go ahead with
but the
it.
letter that came
He's
did not
Deputy
meet
General Secretary. He will appeal.
So are you speaking
the
on
date on which-
authority as Deputy General Secretary? That
No, I'm saying
you are
that the
going
lawyers
forward
have
with
the
an
right
appeal?
to appeal.
Okay.
But I am not saying that there is that intention to appeal. Yesterday, that the judgment was delivered. Lawyers would have to sit down to read the judgment and then decide on what we have to do next. But I'm just happy that justice is not hard to find in Ghana.
All right.